So we're live on YouTube right now. I'm gonna work on it.
So should I start or should I? Okay, can you see it, Susie? On
That
the,
mic is on if you want to use that.
on the ORL
Gotcha. On YouTube or Facebook?
YouTube.
Yeah,
And that's connected to Facebook or not connected?
There's a link.
it's on YouTube.
Okay. Okay, so at least people can see that. Okay. Well, then while you're working on that, okay, we will call the meeting to order. We have 67 adult confirmed active members. So with that, we need a quorum of 20% or 14 members. We have 17 members attending today. So I asked if we have a quorum, right? Is that how we do it?
I think so.
You want to let them know who's on there too?
Who's online?
No, on, well,
Oh, and I have Jayette and Susie on Zoom with us. Okay.
Yep.
No. Okay. Would you do the opening prayer, Jordan? Would you mind?
yeah. Should I do it with the mic or?
Yes, because then everyone can hear.
I'll open the meeting in prayer. Lord God, thank you for bringing each of these people here to join us and those who are online as well. We ask for your wisdom as we discuss the business of the church over the past year, and as we cast vision for the coming year. We ask that your presence be here and that your spirit, as I have said, would guide us in the decisions that are made. We also thank you for the opportunity to share a meal together soon after the meeting. And we do pray that you would help that time to be a time of good fellowship and the food to be a blessing to our bodies as well. Amen.
Thank you, Jordan. Okay. Jayette, are you going to read the minutes? Yes, I can. Or do you want to?
If you can, Amanda, that would be great.
Okay, Sandy's going to read them.
Oh, boy. Okay, our last meeting, President Jamie Legodinsky started by asking online viewers to type their names so that they could be included on the quorum. 13 members were needed for the quorum. Quorum was met. The meeting was called to order. Pastor Jordan opened with prayer. Minutes from the 23 meeting were read and accepted. Jamie presented the treasury report and the report was accepted. The audit committee had nothing to report. Budget was presented. Discussion on pulpit supply, Medicare, and pastor increase was proposed. Discussion on carryover from 23 to 24 budget for roof replacement and lights. Discussion on decrease of online donation for 23, encouragement to set up automatic donations. And that budget was accepted. Committee reports, nominations, and discussions. Oh, that was it, right? Old business, discussion on the roof to be replaced in 24. The new business was trimming tree plant discussion, clock, and was requested in sanctuary. Pastor Jordan discussion on potential sabbatical. Pastor's report was given, meeting was closed with prayer from Pastor Jordan.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the minutes from last year?
Who is?
Cameron.
Cam?
And I'll second.
Kathy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay, just circle. Yeah.
Okay. Susie, did you want to do the report for treasurer's report? Or do you want me to just go through that?
Report, you can go ahead and do that.
Just go through that. Okay, we ended the year with $13,820.38 in our checking account. Our total expenses for the year was $61,691.69. And the total income was $62,241.26. We continue to receive our quarterly interest disbursements from the Burgess Trust in addition to the checking account, liquid assets, including 2 CDs, the WOW savings account, the building fund account, the money markets, and checking accounts for the Luther League. These total $90,844.56. Major expenses for the year included the installation of the new roof. That cost this year was $3,350. Oh, do you want me to repeat all that? Okay, sorry, I'll repeat all of that. Treasurer's report ended the year with $13,820.38 in the checking account. Our total expenses for the year were $61,691.69. The total income was $62,241.26. We continue to receive our quarterly interest disbursements. In addition to the checking account, we have the CDs, the WOW account, the building fund savings account, the money markets, and the checking accounts for the Luther League, and these total $90,844.56. Our major expense for the year was the new roof, and that cost this year was $3,350. I think half of that was paid last year. Okay. And then Cameron, did you checked over the books with Christine?
In reviewing on the auditing report and reviewing the finances that.
Okay, Cameron said there's nothing to report on the books. They're in good standing. Do we have a motion to accept our treasurer's report?
I still move. Second.
Okay, Ron Klein was first and Cameron was second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. All of our reports will be put online after the meeting. Okay, our nominating committee. This year we have 2 vacancies. Jayat Young and Jim Stiles. Do we have any nominees? And Sandy will take.
I decided that I will stay on for a second term.
Yeah.
So I think I can do 2 terms, right? And then I have to take off a year. Well, my term is up, but I decided if it's okay with everybody, I will stay on for a second term. Okay.
Did Jay resign?
Yep, she's out. So we have Jayette and Jim spots to fill.
Jim resigned and he has how much of his term is left?
2 years.
And how much for Jay?
Hers is done.
Hers,
Her term is up.
yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And it turns
3 years.
3 years. Must have been mistaken or other report that last year.
What did it show?
I don't remember what it said.
Okay.
I have it. Okay, so what we had is Susie's off in 27, Jayette's off for now, it's 25, yeah, and Jim is off in 27, Sandy 26, and myself in 26.
Is that what you just? She should be off in 2026. Jamie was off in 20.
Yeah,
last
see, but
year.
she
Jim
filled
was last
somebody's.
year. Sandy would go off this year. You're on till 2026, so.
Yeah, see, but she thinks this one's off. So we have 2 spots to fill.
For full 3-year term?
No, because Jim's will be a 2-year
Yeah.
and then a full 3-year.
I've been up for 3 years. Huh? No, I'm gonna stay with the stewardship, yep. Sandy, I'll be new.
If anybody wants a mic, I can walk around and hand it to you too. So people online can hear.
Can you see if anyone's online?
I
would
can
be
look.
willing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If anyone online would like to be on council, and you can message.
Okay.
Will you bring me that, Kathy? Do you have last year's? Do you have last year's?
It says here, according to this, that she would be off in 2026.
So that would be a 1-year.
So there would be a 1-year term for her and a 2-year for Jim.
Jim would be a 2-year. And Sandy will.
I don't see
So it maybe if I
anything online right now.
do a 1-year, 2-year, right, and she takes hers.
Right.
Okay.
That's how
No,
I
I'll do
do
my
my
3
Okay,
years.
that's where, okay. So we're just gonna go back on this. So JX would be a 1-year term to fulfill and Jim's would be a 2-year term. So we'd be looking for someone to fill a 1-year term and someone to fill a 2-year term.
I'll fill Jan's 1 year.
Okay? Kathy will,
Thank you, Kathy.
yes, thank you. Fill 1 year. That's down here. So just change this as here for 1 year. Over here. This is it. So if any notes you want to just put it on the second page here, we're gonna do 1 year. Sandy, you're gonna fulfill yours.
I think we need to reiterate that it's only like 4 or 5 meetings a year. I think you reiterate that it's only like 4 or 5 meetings a year.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we only meet quarterly, as a reminder, and then we had an additional meeting this year for the annual, to prepare for the annual meeting. So we meet.
Still on Zoom or keep it together?
You have the option.
Yeah,
You
we
have the
have,
option.
some of us get together and then some come in on Zoom.
I have joined from the tractor, the truck.
Mm.
Getting new tires.
Yes.
Yep, you were getting new tires that time.
So
I'll volunteer, but I don't want to do it
Okay.
on Zoom.
Okay.
Usually Sandy and I meet, so
Yeah.
you can meet.
And I know nothing about any of this.
We don't either.
We don't-
Good, you'll learn lots with us.
I'll forward you right now.
That's perfect. Okay, so thank you. Yes, Leanne will do the 2-year. So welcome. Oh, we have to approve this. Okay, now I lost my spot. Then we need a motion to accept these nominations. Jared Cook made a motion. Mary seconded. All in favor? Say aye. All opposed? Well, motion carried. Yep, majority overruled. Well, we're happy to have her. She'll keep us in line, maybe. All right. Old business. All I had on there was the roof. And we completed that. It looks nice. I think I wrote in the report, Gainer Sanitation had I don't know what you call it, dumpster out here. So we had that additional cost on top of the labor, but it was nice to get all of that removed and out of here. Sorry. And then we didn't get a clock yet, but I think that resolved itself. Maybe the clock was for one of our fill-ins, but maybe we still need a clock.
I don't necessarily want to sell.
Okay. So that was one thing. I was like, oh, we didn't get the clock, but we can get a clock if it's still a need.
If the fill-in when I'm on sabbatical ends up going an hour and a half every Sunday,
We'll get a clock.
might want to get a clock.
Oh,
There
that's
you
a
go.
good idea. Okay. Clock for-
Right.
Okay. Yeah, any of the other stuff like the grounds work outside, I think the trees were, I know there was a lot of work with the trees this year and cleaning them up, and I think that was taken care of. The one was cut down out here. So thank you to whoever did that. Thank you for doing that, Ron. Okay. Any other old business? Okay. Seeing none, new business. As far as that tree, is that something we want to replace? That was cut down out front. It was just a little newer tree. It now is kind of, the regrowth is coming. Okay. So okay. That's a good point. That it was discussed that if we did plant it there, that could cause shade on the sidewalks, which then leaves ice. Good point. Do we want more trees? It's easier to mow without more trees.
We don't want it there if your sidewalk.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I move that we just turn this over to the council and decide if we need another tree zone place.
Okay. So we will, it was, Ron moved that we leave it up to the council if we want more trees planted out around the church. Okay. Other church improvements we'd like to discuss? Throughout the year, some things that have been brought to our attention that we've talked about have been air conditioning options for especially when we have like a funeral in the summertime. It gets quite hot in here. Other things have been the bathrooms, updating either the upstairs and or downstairs. They appear to be original. Oh, and we also talked about the windows and putting I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but like getting a company to come in and put a film over them so that would keep some of the heat out in the summer months.
And you can still see outside really well. you can see outside. It doesn't interfere with that. So we talked about that.
Is that an application for the doors as well? The windows and the doors?
Yes, yep. Yeah, and I think at the time there was a company that was in town and they gave us a quote of around, I believe it was around $1,000 to do that. But when we discussed it, it was already too cold to do it, so we tabled it.
There's also somebody in Lemoore that does it.
Oh, and there's someone in Lemoore that also does that installation. So,
It's the bill you're talking about.
yep. Okay, so we could look into.
If you wanted to get another quote, just, drive it into Taylor Klein.
Okay, Taylor Klein does that work?
Is that a permanent like coating, or is it something that like layered on, peels off? Like how does that work?
We had them put in the clinic, put it on, you can't take it off or anything, but make it clear.
Does it go on the inside or outside?
Well, we did the inside. That's the clinic, so I don't know about- I can ask him all that. if you want.
Okay, so the discussion is if it's a permanent or something that we can take off. That's something that we'll need to look into. But would that be something we're interested in pursuing, looking, or? I do think it would, I mean, everything that we did talk about, like, I think it would help with the heat issue that we have.
Well, I think even just to get an idea of what another person would charge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody maybe would be more interested, you know.
Okay.
What it would cost.
There was also talk about the small windows down in the basement, they're coming apart.
Oh,
Those need to be fixed.
okay, the small windows in the basement need repair or replace probably.
Down in the window wells, they're in pieces.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Pieces.
The windows out here, I don't remember who it is that mentioned to me, but not just the putting the film on, but like actually replacing them or fixing, because the levers and handles don't always work. I don't know if is that something?
There's a handle that's broken on one of the turnoff cranks is broken.
They probably need to be taken apart and cleaned out because they get dust in there.
Okay,
You can take it apart and clean it up and relube it and it'll work like a new one.
okay.
Because I think we replaced those windows. I mean, in my time of
Is that right?
being
Yeah.
on like my previous time.
Not the
So
ones in the addition over here, and
not down here, just over there.
the ones over here haven't been replaced since they were moved, but I'm sure they need to be cleaned up.
Yeah, and that's probably why they don't close, is just because they're sticking.
Dust in them.
Yeah,
The gear won't work.
right.
And what is literally broken.
Yeah,
The crank is broken?
Yes.
Okay.
You can get a new crank from there, an Anderson window, so you can get a new crank anytime.
yeah. Yeah, that can, I suppose, just go on the council.
Okay, we'll
To-do
look
list.
into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for making us aware. Okay. Any thoughts on air conditioning or?
I'll share what I've shared with the
Sure.
council. So the last summer, the Baptist church in Cullum put in 2 air conditioning units, kind of a newer style that, from what I understand, they either together, the 2 of them together were $1,000 or they were $1,000 each, but that's very affordable. And they sufficiently cooled the whole sanctuary area very well in that church. And Dale Gackle, who works at the Cullum Hardware store, he installed it. They ordered it through there, and then he installed it as well. And so that's an option to look into if we think getting an air conditioning is worth it.
Is it a wall unit?
It's not like no, it's not a traditional window unit. It is It's hard to describe because I haven't actually seen it myself, but they've tried to describe it to me. So it's kind of like that game of telephone where then if I try and describe it to you, it's really going to sound weird. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I think it's a wall mount. Okay. Right.
And the unit is outside on the ground, and it's just right up to that, comes through the wall.
Yeah. And the reason it came up was because of after Raymond's funeral, that ended up being on a very hot day and the church was full. And yeah, it's been brought up by several people because it was hot. I mean, I think it was 92 in here, which, there's a risk there of heat stroke and stuff too. You don't want people coming to a funeral and then having to call the ambulance or something. So,
I'll make a motion to council for that and wise unit like that, if they're that reasonably priced, then we have mounted up on the wall. I'm not sure there's enough space above the windows, but you might have to put it up there.
oh,
in
sure.
the back.
Right.
Well, and
And
we
that
can
could
do more research on
Yeah.
and
I think we'll
details
do
for
that research but there's a motion then. Is there a,
So Jim has made a motion that we pursue looking into the air conditioning options and putting in 2 units
Or whatever they,
or what is advised.
and the council decide whether they want to buy them or not, go ahead and buy them if they. But the council can decide.
Okay, just a second. I have a message from Susie here. And we do have money from the memorial of Raymond Ellingson to use towards the air conditioning unit also. She didn't say how much.
I would definitely say don't look into one that goes in the furnace, because the furnace needs to be replaced. It's 60-some years old.
Okay, Susie.
Well, unless you put a new furnace in there. But you're needing a new furnace pretty quick.
Okay, so we can look into the options of doing it dually with a furnace and air conditioning, or look at doing an option in this.
Only if you put a new furnace.
Okay, and only if we put a new furnace.
right. So that would be a more expensive, but he's saying the furnace is getting to the end of its life, but it's not there yet. But that would be more expensive, obviously, to do then.
You just run a furnace till they die, or you're saying it's 60 years old? Be proactive and replace it at some point?
Well, yeah, they actually burn out, the fire pot will burn out eventually. I mean, that furnace was in here when the church was built.
Okay.
Okay, so that's maybe the route we should look at, a new furnace.
I thought it was replaced, I thought
There's a question if Muslins had replaced the furnace at one point.
Oh, I don't know that. I just thought it was still original.
I-
Can you have someone just, excuse me, could you just have someone check it and see what, if it's safe or not?
We had it inspected this year. What's his name? Travis Mathern was here, and we had we updated a couple things on it that needed to be replaced. I don't know, switches. I don't know furnace terminology very good, but we did have him come and inspect it and look at it, and it's continuing to work.
Maybe the best option would be to pursue researching the air conditioning, but then also
Research.
in this 2025 year, have like a system or assessment done on the furnace, going into the following winter if it's
Good idea.
a required.
But sometimes too, when you get to a certain age, you have to
Right, and that's something maybe we could find out too, is like, is it fixable? Is it, usable? Like, how much more time does it have? But
Yeah,
I
we'll
don't
have
think the
that
two
done.
need to be connected necessarily right now, as
Yeah.
far as air conditioning. We can look into both of them.
Okay, so we'll do some research on that. So if we were to find that, we'd probably just have to have another meeting to increase our budget for.
These new wall units work very well at home, and that wouldn't involve the furnace at all. And you wouldn't have to mess with the furnace at all as long as it's working. But there's no sense of putting an air conditioner in that old furnace and then 5 years down the road have it replaced. But if you want to go with the wall units, they'll take care of this place. They work very well. And they have a unit outside, just like the one in the furnace would have. A cooling unit, so I would strongly suggest you just look into the wall ones and go for that,
Yeah. And we do have money available. Did Susie say how much is available on that?
She thought around $1,000.
So, that might cover half of the cost of it anyway, to do the wall units. So, yeah, that's a good, I think that's a good, I agree with that.
Okay. So we will look into those options, and it was stated that the AC units on the wall work efficiently and might be as effective to go forward with. Okay, any other new business to discuss? Yes. Oh, it's up to 150. Okay. Yes, thank you. I will make that correction. So what had happened with the missions is there was just some confusion, and with the World Vision, the Wycliffe, and how was put in there. So yes, we tried to figure that out. We were told I thought it was $100, so I apologize for that. We will fix that to 150. I'll do some math. Yes, but what happened when it got missed, they never sent what they normally send as like a receipt. And so when we became the new council and didn't realize this, yeah. We thought because it was coming out, the World Vision comes out every month. That's where the confusion came in. But we will fix it. I was just going to pull up my calculator. I don't know. That was already happening when I came up. Let me ask you.
It was all happening when we came on, so yeah.
So that number should be.
Vision's been taken out automatically ever since I started, and so that's why I thought that was the cruiser, just a cruiser, payment. I asked that question, but
Right.
so whatever it is, there's no problem.
Yeah.
Yes, and in addition, we have $550 that is donated by congregation this past year, so we will make it the $2,350. So yes, it was just the World Vision and the Wycliffe, because I talked to many people in the last week about this, and it was, oh yeah, the Wycliffe is Jessica. So it was just a total, we didn't know. And Susie just took over the books this year, and she just didn't know. So Yes. Well, we're going to figure that out.
We have more watching as well. Bill and Tabby and Dolores Lutz,
Can I write those down?
and Jim Stiles,
Dolores,
and
Bill, Jim.
And to answer your question, Lori, for World Vision, I'm not sure, but we'll look into when we started. Yeah, so we will look into that. Yep. Yeah, so we want to make sure we fix this in moving forward. Okay. Any other things in the report, I guess?
Is up to the council to set up, we don't have a women's group per se anymore that used to do the adopt a room cleaning, setting that up and organizing that. We don't have that presence anymore, so is it up to the council then to kind of put out a sheet to update the cleaning? Or, how can we handle that? The cleaning of the church falls upon a few who are doing areas that aren't assigned to them necessarily.
So
I think if everybody's too busy to pick up their area that they adopted, should we look at other options of maybe hiring it done once a month? There are times when there's an important event happening in our church, and it's not clean. I don't think it represents us well. And so then there's a few people that notice it that are frantically trying to clean it up so that it is presentable for.
So the question is, who's in charge of the adopt a room cleaning, and how do we fulfill those tasks? Or should we look at hiring it done so that our church is presentable when events are happening?
Because the list does need to be revised. There are people that are around it or,
yeah, I saw. So does that is that like out available for people to sign up, and then it goes annually like that, and then gets
Well,
changed
it's
once?
their job. If you sign up, if you adopt a room that you clean, that's your responsibility for the year to make sure that it's done.
Sure.
Weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Check that area, and if it needs cleaning, it's cleaning.
Mm-hmm. What about anyone else have any thoughts on? Yeah.
My wife can take care of the bathroom, and it's kind of hard. We checked it Sunday or two ago, someone left us not flush the toilet, left the light on out there. I mean, so what I'm saying is, it's kind of hard to get this perfect if people aren't doing their part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you could check that. It could happen if you hire somebody. Same thing could happen between Sunday, which was on your week.
Right.
And that was just this last weekend when she got this.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody would try to leave it, undone. But yeah, I guess that's something. Would monthly cleaning, hiring someone to do that be enough? Do we?
What do you think the cost on that? Does anybody have any idea what that would be? Like once a month, full cleaning?
Lori, did you have a?
I just wanted to say that if you use it, you commit to go check the bathrooms before you leave or things like that.
Yeah, so whoever uses the church to be sure that they're checking the facility before they leave is important.
We used to have committees that, years ago when I first came, committees that would do spring cleaning and fall cleaning. Everybody gets together, you clean once in the spring, clean once in the fall, well, that's fallen aside. But, you know, the adapter room works if people can
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I'm, just kind of suggesting that everybody's too busy and just doesn't have the time to invest maybe, for me, rather than having to look at doing any scrubbing, I personally pay to have somebody do my job. And if enough of us felt that, felt that, we would just have a fund that pays for somebody to do it. Like a lawn mowing, you could sign up for it, but when nobody signs up, somebody still has to do it.
Yeah.
So you pay them to do it.
Yeah, I mean, so do you think, Kathy, just at the very least, looking into the costs of having a monthly cleaning service? And I know there's a couple of individuals or a few people in Edgeley who do that for homes. Isn't that right? Is there?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get them because they're full, but
Sure.
we can definitely look into it and see what the cost would be. And
I can ask if someone that works at the clinic who does it outside too. I know, like, which charges an hour or whatever.
Well, I clean the bank uptown here, and they pay me $22 an hour. Then it takes a couple hours to do it. So that's,
On Facebook just recently, like, they paid 27 hours.
well, is it something that we can just look into as a council,
Yeah.
the cleaning, and then decide, how we want to move forward with that?
Yeah. What was that, Leanne?
Our regulars would come and do summer and spring and fall cleaning.
Oh, sure.
Okay, we will further look into that.
I know we always have the same thing with the mowing, Amanda. It's hard to get people to pay in for the mowing. We just decided as a council just to pay for the mowing every year. We should just do the same thing for cleaning. Congregations are getting older, people never have time anymore, so if we just pay somebody at least even once a month to do a deep clean, that would probably be okay, I would think.
Yeah, so what Susie's talking about is, this year we actually added a line of mowing into our budget because there isn't a lot of volunteerism to do it. And so maybe that is just something we need to look at, adding a line for that cleaning at least once a month. So at least once a month it's getting deep cleaned.
Okay, so we have another, Jeanette Johannesson has joined us as well, so just for the minutes, and Ryan Kotz. Ryan Kotz also knows of somebody who cleans a church in Cleveland and does their offices. So, there's a lot out there that we could check in with. All right.
Okay. Is there any other new business? Well, I think I do that after. Well, maybe that's now. The budget. Is there any questions on the budget? It is found on page 11. I just don't know where that comes in. Oh, I was supposed to do that back here. Sorry, I was supposed to do that previously. Are there any questions on the budget?
I'm thinking as I look at it, is there what is, when you look at the actual expense, 61,691 versus the 2024 budget, what creates the biggest difference there between those two numbers? Is it, I mean, I can see the repair.
Well, we did the roof repair. Our roof project.
Right, but it came, so I'm just saying the budget was quite a bit higher. So it came in a little bit lower, a couple thousand lower, but what else was significantly different? Oh, I see
Yes,
that.
and
Yeah.
the pulpit supply is because we had to take into account the sabbatical and add what we will be paying the fill-in to come from Jamestown. And so that's where we added the money there.
Oh, and then is the benevolent missions, is that because of the, does that have something to do with what happened with Kuzler? Where it's 2,590, but it was 6,500 was what was budgeted?
Yeah, that will, yep.
Yeah, that pretty much adds,
Receive.
that makes sense then. All those things, I guess it adds up to the difference.
Now, the media, that was, the two new TVs, is that included in that?
Those were
No.
donated.
Those are donated.
Yep. Also, there was a stand for the projector donated. And we just recently got a computer donated so that we can have a second one to connect to the TVs and projector, because we can't use the computer that we have for that. But that just happened here in January.
Council sending thank yous to these people, acknowledging that.
Yes, we will do that. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the budget? Mary makes a motion to approve the budget. And Leanne seconds. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so we need to update our committees. Our nominating committees was Kathy and Amanda Huber. Do we have any volunteers for the nominating committee? Do you want to check if anybody's willing online? If there's anyone willing online,
I'll see here one second. I don't see any. anyone who has an interest in being on the nominating committee, you can, and you're watching online, go ahead and type into the chat there that you'd be interested in that. I don't think it's too,
No, it's just
Too much.
when we have people coming off of council, then helping to find people to fulfill those places. Okay.
um, you could, I was gonna say maybe text Amanda. Amanda's not on, but I wondered about maybe texting her and just seeing if she'd be interested in staying on it. Yeah.
While I'm waiting for them two to get back to me, Amanda Huber and Jayette, is there anybody, Cameron was on his second year of the auditing committee. So Christine will be, it's a 2-year term. Christine will be on that. Do we have someone to fulfill the second place?
Say that again, that's a 2-year term,
A 2-year term, yep.
and they're both going off this year, or is it only
Just Cameron, because he's done 2 years. So Christine will be still on
for one?
for 1 more year. So we just need a second person.
Term limit on that one.
Good question. Can Cameron continue to do that? Is that okay? All right, Cameron. We'll do that. Then pastoral committee. Okay, sorry. I said that wrong. Cameron, you're still on. Let's see if Christine will continue. I'm sure she will.
It's a 2-year term, and then you have to go off for a year.
You do have to go off a year. Mary Steele will do it. Thank you. Cameron and Mary. Okay. Pastoral committee. It's currently Mary and Arden. All right. They'll stay. The mission board. Lori, Jamie, and Leanne.
I think the pastoral committee should take the pastor out to dinner a few times a year, huh?
We did this year seek, or we did donate to additional things. I'm sure you've read that in there, but the Kaddish House and we wanted to keep things locally, more locally, so we donated to the Kaddish House and our local food bank. So, was there anything else? Okay. Leanne says she'll stay on. I think I can speak for Jamie that she will stay on. And Lori said she will stay on. Okay. And then funeral committee. Kathy? Anybody else for funeral? Who was the other one? There's three of you. Oh, and Christine. Yeah. Any other volunteers? Yes. Okay. So did you get Chris?
So that, is that correct?
Yep. So do Christine, Kathy, and I'm waiting to hear from Susie. Okay, so back to the nominating. Did we get that one? Oh, I was waiting to hear from Amanda Huber.
Yeah.
Jared Cook, you can probably help with that. Okay. Which one? Yes. Well, Susie hasn't responded. Oh. Yes, she will stay on. So we'll just keep those the same. Then the LCMC 25th annual gathering is October 5th through the 8th in Lakeville, Minnesota. Is there anyone interested in that? I know, right? Oh, what did we want, Amanda?
The LCMC mustn't have very many farmers being the pastors because they always do it right in the middle of soybean harvest.
She doesn't. But she... So what if we don't get anyone that wants? Can we just leave it open and when it's come sooner, we can talk about that? Okay. So I'll just recap my mess here. Okay, what do we got? So we've got Jared and Amanda Huber for the nominating committee, Cameron and Mary for the auditing, Mary and Arden for the pastoral, Leanne, Lori, and Jamie for the mission. Funeral, we have Christine, Kathy, and Susie. And we'll wait with the convention. Do we have a motion to accept these nominations?
I still move.
Ron? Okay. And a second? Okay. Jim Sue. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, motion carried. I forgot to share about the youth. This year we got to go to the Mercy Me concert. Sarah and I brought 8 youth there. It was a lot of fun. Much appreciated that the church was willing to let that opportunity happen. I can speak that I had no idea what to expect. I'd never been to a concert like that, so that was a lot of fun for me, and I think the kids got way more out of it than they had maybe anticipated. But that was a lot of fun. Another big thing that I thought that we did that was great was some families got together along with the kids and cleaned up the cemetery. I don't remember exactly how many trailer loads. I feel like it was like 5 to 8 loads that we filled heaping full. The cemetery was a mess after last winter's ice storm. And so that was much appreciated by all the children and families that were able to help that day. And we confirmed 8 students this year. So sending them on their journey in faith. So anything I missed for big things? The classes are going well. The kids are, we like to feed them. They like, food goes well with learning. And they seem to enjoy that. So we've had great participation and great, they show up and we even have extras. So that's fun also. We have some families that join us that don't go somewhere else. So they come to us, and so that's great too. Okay, with that, Jordan, I think you're up, unless I've missed anything.
Okay, I'll just be quick. I know everyone's probably getting hungry. The food might be getting cold. I just wanted to take the opportunity this time in the pastor's report to say a little bit more about the sabbatical thing, because I've already, shared some through the past weeks, and in terms of what that actually is, why I'm doing that. But I want to say just a little bit more detail, and I've written some of it down here. If you look on the back, is my the pastor's report, and so I'm not going to read it verbatim, but a lot of what I'm going to say I kind of have in there as well. One morning I woke up and realized I've almost been here 15 years, and it's the time has gone incredibly fast. I'm sure everybody else agrees it, and it's amazing that time can fly by that fast. But nonetheless, something that has been becoming more and more popular, especially for pastors that are long-term pastors at churches, is something called a sabbatical. Of course, it's based on the word Sabbath, or to rest, and biblically there's a tradition of every 7 years type thing where a sabbatical can happen. But churches have been trying to employ this idea to give pastors a little bit of some downtime to more or less pursue a variety of different things. It can be, as I mentioned here, can be sort of restoration, just rejuvenation of the soul, kind of like attending to things that maybe you don't attend to very often in terms of your ministry, what the source and fuel is of your ministry. And so I kind of wanted to more or less just let everybody know that that's the origin of the idea in my mind. It's not that I feel burnt out per se or something like that, which can also be the case that I think pastors get burnt out. But rather that, I see it as kind of a proactive step towards, just getting a little bit of rest in a way that can fuel the next chapter. And so I think about that. I think it's a time of discernment, a time of just to see where God is moving in my heart and in my mind, in the life of the church and everything as well. And so that's part of what's going on with that. The other thing, I'm doing an online class during the time as well. It's a class that I don't know if many people would be interested in doing, but it's just exploring the Christian theology as it comes through the famous novel by Fyodor Dostoevsky, the Russian novelist, the brothers Karamazov. I don't know if you've ever read the book. If you haven't, I'd absolutely recommend it. But I'm going to be doing this class, and I've already done 3 class sessions. It's a 10-week course, so we're 3 weeks in so far. But in the time in sabbatical, I'll be giving more time to that. And then doing some trips and just spending some time with some old friends, seeing them. And overall, I look forward to reporting back to the church a little bit about kind of maybe what happened in my time in sabbatical, and I plan to do that as well. I really appreciate the council really being encouraging in doing this. I didn't have to pry it out of anybody for that matter. It was willingly. Yeah, thank you. So that's what's going on with that. If there's ever any questions, though, if anyone has any questions, I really want you to know that you can ask me and I can say more. I just don't want to keep you too long here today. The other thing I wanted to just say, a couple of thank yous. One thing I wanted to mention as I was looking through the notes here, a big thank you to Kathy DeBolt. This past year, she spent a lot of time, probably hours, hours upon hours looking through our church records and trying to curate, we'll say, the records so that we have a more accurate understanding of who the active members are, who the inactive members are, people who've passed away, moved away. It's a lot of work, a lot of research to try and figure those things out, making sure we have the correct names of who's been baptized and confirmed and things like that. If you remember going back, this is something that Millie, I believe, did. And I remember quite well, frequently after church, she would be in the back with the big book. And if you know the book, it's not just the big book because we call it the big book. It's big, like big. And she was it's all manually reported and for the last 65 years. And so, she was really committed to that and she did a great job. But then when Millie passed away, it was something that it's one of those jobs that I talked about in the sermon today where you don't see it happening. And when you don't see something happening, you don't realize it's happening. Yet, Kathy has stepped up this year to really get things updated and we're thankful. So thank you, Kathy, for that. Also the council, there's going to be people I forget, but I just really want to thank the council. It's, the work you do and the way you're leading the church. Thank you for continuing to do that. For those who volunteered for the coming year as well. There's those, I want to thank those in the community and in the church who have donated of resources and so many different things over the past year. We're so grateful for the generosity that so many have shown to this church. And I'm not going to go through the litany because I know that there's a lot of people, individuals I can thank as well. But I just know that as I was preaching the sermon today, a lot of what I was preaching was not just, hey, we need to be a church like this, but more a sermon of gratitude to the entire church for being a church where we see ourselves as a body who all contribute. And I know that you all do that, and I'm thankful for it. The last thing I would just say is I wouldn't be opposed to the pastoral committee, planning a couple of meetings over dinner at my favorite restaurants. I'll let you know what those are. And we can make up for lost time in the past couple of years. Yeah, that would be great. So we might have to add a line item to the budget for that. No. But no, I otherwise I'm going to leave it at that. As I said, you can read the report to get more of the details too of what I kind of summarized just now. But that's all I have for right now, I think. Yeah, I don't have any plans to apply for another job. I have plenty other jobs already that I'm doing, so we're good to go. Oh, last 2 years ago. 23. Yeah. No, it's 2023. Time flies. Yeah. No, I was looking at last year's Christmas card of ours, and there's a picture of them. The evidence speaks for itself. Anyway, okay, that's it for me, though. Yeah, no. So there's a couple of people we've talked about, yeah, with new members, and we can do a new member Sunday again, right around Easter. I think we've done it in the past. But the other thing I want to mention, I did forget about, and even though I'm on sabbatical, if there's an emergency or a death or, I'm going to be around. I'm not going to be like absent. So don't, I'll still, I would lead a funeral. I would, visit somebody if there's an emergency, an accident, or something in a hospital like that. So I don't want anyone to feel as though I'm going to be absent from those particular things. But, assuming that doesn't happen, I won't be doing the normal Sunday service and things like that. So, okay.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you. Okay. Now we just need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Jim? And a second? Jared, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Would you like to say a prayer for our luncheon? Or did you already do that?
I did, but we could all close in the Lord's Prayer.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
And thank you, council. Thank you, Amanda, for leading us.
She's
For the moment, I was thrown in your lap. We appreciate you.
Can I make one comment?